This is 5.3 notes, how to add, subtract, and multiply polynomial expressions. So for the vocabulary, the first part of polynomial, poly means many, and nomial means number. So a polynomial means many numbers or many terms. Polynomials can have constants, variables, or exponents. Polynomials cannot have a division of the variables like 2 over x. When I talk about terms, terms are those separated by either an addition or a subtraction sign. So if we look here, we have an addition and a subtraction, which means we have 3 terms. Okay. When we see parentheses, we're going to count this whole thing as a term. So technically, we only have 2 terms. Okay. We classify polynomials by how many terms they have. So, for example, if they have 1 term, we call this a nomial. My bad, I spelt that wrong. A monomial. For example, 6x squared. If it has 2 terms, then it's a binomial. For example, 6x squared plus 5x, 2 terms. And then if it has 3 terms, it's a trinomial, like 6x squared plus 5x plus 1. Okay, 3 terms. We know that our polynomials are in standard form if the exponents go from greatest to least. So we always start with the greatest exponent. So let's look at the steps for adding and subtracting polynomials. So here we have 2 terms that are separated by a minus sign. Anytime we have 2 polynomials being subtracted, I want you to take that minus sign and distribute it in to every single term. So pretty much what we're doing is we're multiplying every term by -1. Once we do that, we can rewrite everything without the parentheses. So I have 8x cubed minus 3x squared minus 2x plus 9 minus 2x cubed minus 6x squared plus x minus 1. Notice how all my signs changed. Then I just combine like terms. But remember, when I'm writing this in standard form, I need to make sure that the highest exponent comes first. So in this case, the highest exponent is x cubed, so I'm going to do those ones first. So I have 8x cubed minus 2x cubed, so this is 6x cubed. And then I go to my squares, so I have negative 3x squared and negative 6x squared, so negative 9x squared. Then I go to my x's, negative x and x gives me minus x. And then lastly, my constants, 9 minus 1 is 8. This is my answer. Okay. Example 2, we have 3 terms where one is being subtracted and the other is being added. So between the 2 terms that have the addition sign, we don't need to do anything, okay? Only worry about the one with the subtraction sign. So for this one, we're going to distribute it into the parenthesis next to it, and then we're going to rewrite everything without the parentheses. So I have 3t cubed plus 8t squared minus t minus 4 minus 5t cubed plus t squared minus 17 plus 3t plus 8. Notice the signs of only these ones changed. Now I'm going to combine like terms, and again, my greatest exponent is that t cubed. So I'm going to do those ones first. So 3t cubed minus 5t cubed is negative 2t cubed. 8t squared plus t squared gives me 9t squared. Negative t plus 3t gives me 2t. And then lastly, my constants, negative 4 and 8 give me positive 4. Positive 4 minus 17 is negative 13. That's my answer. Okay. Now we're going to look at this example here. It says, what is the perimeter of the figure below in terms of x? So we need to remember that the perimeter is when we add all the sides. But if we look at this diagram over here, notice it is missing two sides. It's missing this one and it's missing this one. Okay, so in order to find that, we're going to use the measurements of the corresponding sides to try to find our side. So since this whole side right here is this, notice that's the same as adding this side plus this side. They're the same distance. So it's adding this term plus this term. So off to the side, I'm going to write 4x squared minus 3x minus 8 plus 2x plus 3. And then for that other missing side, notice it's the same as taking this long side and subtracting this short side, so using these two terms. So we have 3x squared plus 2x minus 1, and since we're subtracting, we need to make sure we're giving that minus sign to both the x squared and the positive 4, so minus x squared minus 4. Now we have all the sides, so we can add them together. So starting right here, I have 3x squared plus 2x minus 1 plus 2x plus 3 plus x squared plus 4 plus 4x squared minus 3x minus 8 plus 3x squared plus 2x minus 1 minus x squared minus 4 plus 4x squared minus 3x minus 8 plus 2x plus 3. So that's all the sides written out. Now we're going to combine like terms, and it looks like our highest exponent is the square. So I have 3x squared plus x squared is 4x squared plus 4x squared is 8x squared plus 3x squared is 11x squared minus x squared is 10x squared plus 4x squared is 14x squared. Now I'm going to do the same for just the x's. So 2x plus 2x is 4x, minus 3x is x, plus 2x is 3x, minus 3x is 0, plus 2x. So we have plus 2x. And then lastly, I'm going to do the numbers. So negative 1 and 3 is 2. 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 minus 8 is negative 2. Negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. Negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7. Negative 7 with negative 8 gives us negative 15 plus 3, that's negative 12. That's our answer. Okay, the next part is multiplying polynomials together. Okay, so notice we have a binomial, because it has two terms, multiplied by, not sure what it's called when it has 4, but it's the one above trinomial, so 4 terms. Okay, so in order to do this, we're going to do an expansion on the FOIL method. So I'm going to take this first term here, and I'm going to multiply it by every term inside of the parentheses. That's my first step. So 2x squared plus 2x cubed is 4x to the 5th. 2x squared minus x squared is negative 2x to the 4th. 2x squared plus 3x is plus 6x cubed. And 2x squared times negative 5 is negative 10x squared. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but with the negative 1. So I have negative 2x cubed plus x squared minus 3x plus 5. Now I have to combine like terms. So I'm going to start with my x to the 5th. Okay. Then I'm going to have my x to the fourth. Then I'm going to have my x cubes. Okay. Then my x squareds. Then my x. Then my constant. So if it has nothing to add to, I just rewrite it. So 4x to the fifth minus 2x to the fourth plus 4x cubed minus 9x squared minus 3x plus 5. Okay, so this whole thing is my answer. Okay. If we get examples like number 7, we need to remember that this exponent right here tells us to write it 3 times. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take 2c minus 1 and write it 3 times. 2c minus 1 times 2c minus 1 times 2c minus 1. I'm going to FOIL the first 2. So I have 4c squared minus 2c plus 1, which is 4c squared minus 4c plus 1. Then I'm going to bring down my other parenthesis and FOIL again. So I'm going to take 4c squared and multiply it by 2c and negative 1. So that gives me 8c cubed minus 4c squared. Then I'm going to take negative 4c and multiply it by 2c and negative 1. So that's negative 8c squared plus 4c. Then I'm going to take 1 and multiply it by 2c and negative 1. So plus 2c minus 1. Then I'm going to combine like terms. So I have 8c cubed all by itself. And then I have negative 4c squared and negative 8c squared, which is negative 12c squared. And then I have 4c and 2c, which is 6c, and then the minus 1. That's my answer. Number 8 says find the volume of the rectangular prism below. So we know that volume is equal to length times width times height. So that's the same as saying x plus 3 times x plus 1 times 2x plus 2. So x plus 3, x plus 1, 2x plus 2. Let me move this over a little bit. There we go. So first, I'm going to FOIL the first 2. So I have x squared plus x plus 3x plus 3, which is x squared plus 4x plus 3. Then I bring down my 2x plus 2 and FOIL that one. So first, I'm going to do x squared times 2x times 2, which is 2x cubed plus 2x squared. Then I'm going to do 4x times 2x and 2. So plus 8x squared plus 8x. And then lastly, 3 times 2x and 2. So that's plus 6x plus 6. Combining like terms, I get 2x cubed plus 10x squared plus 14x plus 6. That's my answer. Okay, then lastly, number 9 says you make a tin box by cutting x inch by x inch squares off the corners of a rectangle that is 12 inches by 6 inches and then folding up each side. So let's do that first. So we're cutting this away. This is now gone. Okay, and remember each of the sides of those are x. Okay, we also know that one side of our box is 12 inches and the other side of our box is 6 inches. It says the plan for the box is shown. What polynomial represents the volume of this box? Okay, so we know volume is equal to length times width times height. We have the length and width, but we first need to subtract the corners off of each. Well, notice each of them have 2 corners. So if I'm subtracting 2 corners, each corner is x, so minus 2x. Same with the 6 minus 2x. So I have 12 minus 2x times 6 minus 2x And then lastly, my height, if I fold the side up, that side is only going to be x inches tall. So then I multiply, and I'm going to first by multiplying these two together. So this gives me 6x minus 2x squared, and then I bring down 12 minus 2x, and then I FOIL, just like normal. So I have 72x minus 24x squared minus 12x squared plus 4x cubed. And then I have to write this in standard form, so 4x cubed minus 36x squared plus 72x. That's my answer.